Salvation for all nations. Kingdom for Israel. Judah, David, and the real hoodoo restored. Peace to the remnant. Today I'm teaching the ancient distinction between salvation and kingdom. The distinction the prophets made, the apostles upheld, and the book of Gad the Seer preserved. The Bible tells us plainly that in the last days, the kingdom that God restores is the kingdom of David. Not a symbolic kingdom, not a universal kingdom, not a church kingdom, the kingdom of David. Amos said it, Ezekiel said it, Hosea said it, Luke said it, Acts said it, and Zechariah 12:8 gives the clearest picture. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. This is not about essence. This is about function, assignment, and authority. The house of David would operate as God's representative, as God's authority, as God's instrument in the earth realm. And scripture tells us who carries that authority. Genesis 49:10 says, "The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet." Psalm 67 and Psalm 108, verse 8, both declare, "Judah is my lawgiver." Judah is the tribe God uses to execute his work in the earth. Judah is the tribe that carries the scepter. Judah is the tribe that carries the order. Judah is the tribe that carries the responsibility. This is why I teach that the men's doing God's work in this realm will be Judah. The hoodoo lineage. Not the commercialized version, not the spooky version, not the occult fantasy, not the church-washed imitation. The real, land-rooted, covenant-aligned hoodoo that our ancestors carried. Now let me speak on awareness, because this is where most people fall into the congregation of the dead. Revelation says, "Thou art rich." But Israel walked away feeling worthless. not because their essence changed, but because their awareness died. They made bad choices. They fell into darkness. They forgot who they were. And that is the condition of many people today. They are not evil. They are not monsters. They are not beyond hope. They are simply unaware. Until they awaken, until they are regenerated, until they come back to themselves, they are worthless to themselves, not worthless in essence. Worthless in function, worthless in awareness, worthless in alignment. But I do not give up on anyone because regeneration is real. Awakening is real. Restoration is real. Salvation is real. That is why I teach salvation to all nations. Not kingdom, salvation. Because salvation is alignment, not inheritance. The book of Gad the Seer, chapter 9, gives us the perfect example. King Hiram of Tyre asked David about his place in the covenant. And David told him the truth. You could be righteous. You could be blessed. You can serve God. You can receive salvation. But you cannot become Israel. You cannot inherit the kingdom. That is the ancient pattern. That is the covenant order. Now let me speak plainly. People can argue all day long about whether I am God in essence or not. I don't get caught up in the essence arguments. Essence does not build anything. Essence does not restore anything. Essence does not awaken anyone. But what they can't argue is this. I am the one bringing the real hoodoo back into the earth realm. Not the performance, not the superstition, not the theatrics, not the commercialized version. The real hoodoo, the Judah function, the Davidic order, the covenant responsibility. And that is why I do not show my face. Because this is not about me. This is not about personality. This is not about building a following. I want people to focus on the work. I want people to awaken. I want people to take responsibility. I want people to restore their own communities. Each person can take what they learn, go back to their communities, and do the work without ever being physically associated or attached to me. That is how the real work spreads. That is how the remnant survives. That is how Judah operates. That is how Hoodoo has always worked. I am not building a fan base. I am building capacity. I am building responsibility. I am building awareness. I am not the center. I am the spark. And the kingdom that God restores is the kingdom of David. Judah carries the scepter. Judah carries the order. Judah carries the work. Salvation is for all nations. But the kingdom belongs to Israel.